Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the 143. This is Under Review. We're coming at you with another episode, episode 171, here with our draft preview episode.
Yep, we got a doozy for you. Just sprinkling in the NFL episodes when we can because, we're looking forward to, when that fall season comes around. And
Yes,
this is
sir.
a huge deal because there's kind of a lot of big names going on in this draft. Lots of QBs.
Yeah, a lot of experts are saying that this draft is really interesting because after pick number 3-ish, the talent doesn't change as much from picks 4 through, the end of the first round and into the second round. So it's going to be really interesting to see what teams are going to do. I think there are going to be a lot of trades happening with picks and everything going in, just like when the first round's happening. But Thursday night, tune in. The draft will be in Green Bay. Those fans, as much as we don't love them, really into football up there. So it should be nice and entertaining. And I think it'll be good. Honestly, it's impressive that the NFL has made the draft such a big TV thing because it used to not be that exciting. And now, people tune in to watch at least round one. So props to the NFL. We're going to talk about that. Let's go into a stat of the week brought to you by our sponsor, Andrews Logistics. So this is a baseball stat because there's just no way I couldn't highlight this. Jock Peterson for the Texas Rangers has made MLB history in the worst start through 20 games ever with a .055 batting average. Pretty much every time he comes up to the plate, he's an out. He's done it tonight as we're talking, Tuesday night. He's already gotten out twice. Yeah, just not great.
Yeah, kind of a big disappointment there. Expected him to play a pretty big role in the Rangers offense. Rangers offense overall being very disappointing.
Yep.
I'll even say I was wrong about Jock. Talked about him quite a lot during the offseason. He was even player of the week at one point a couple weeks ago or something like that. A month ago probably, something like that. But
a lot of season left, but hopefully.
It is still early. It's still April, so it's not – it stinks, but it is not technically the end of the world. A lot of games to be played left. Overall, the Rangers are doing – they're doing okay. They're staying afloat, but it just doesn't look pretty right now.
Nope.
Is all it is. We're winning games, but it just doesn't look pretty.
You hate to be making history like that. That's for sure.
So step it up, Jock, please, because we need you, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Your player of the week. Going to switch it over to a little bit of hockey. We're sporting the Dallas Stars right now. And so we had 2 overtime winners last night, which would have been Monday night. Alexander Ovechkin gets his first playoff overtime winner. That was a huge one. But I was pointing out Colin Blackwell because he is of our dear beloved Dallas Stars, making his debut as a Dallas Star. Been around the league a lot, played a lot of hockey, but then made his Dallas Stars playoff debut. Came in very late at kind of the last second. They healthy scratched Maverick Bourque and chose to throw Colin Blackwell in there. Pete DeBoer said that was because he's a high-energy guy, and so after losing Game 1 on Saturday and it looking pretty ugly, they needed somebody to come in and, just charge the lineup a little bit, and he 5 shots on goal, and he scored the game winner in overtime with about 2.5 minutes to go. That was pretty huge. I mean, the other thing, too, is there's so much focus on the star power in that series that you saw a lot of the bottom 6 guys coming in clutch during that game. Just a lot of good hockey from that fourth line and then coming up clutch to win the game as well. So that was pretty electric to see. It's a very, very late game. They didn't start until 8:50, I think it was, and then it went on until it actually carried over into early Tuesday morning because it surpassed midnight. But it was a very electrifying game. They'll play Game 3 in Denver tomorrow, which is Wednesday. So we're looking forward to that one.
Yeah, and obviously Nick and I stayed up and watched all the way through because this is our job, and we're fans first, but we're also analysts second, as we like to be on this show.
The voice was a little hoarse this morning. Throat was a little scratchy at work, just from yelling at the TV, as any sane person would do.
Yep.
But it was pretty electrifying.
Talking to a guy at work this morning, said he's a Stars fan, said he didn't stay up for the whole game. So I don't know what that's about, but that's not what a fan is. So playoff hockey is really delivering right now. I know the Kings game also wasn't overtime, but did have a pretty electric ending. So even though playoff basketball, playoff hockey are going on at the same time, the playoff hockey has definitely been a lot more exciting than the playoff basketball going on.
I mean, already every single game has just been insane. Like you said, I mean, the Kings, that was a 11-goal game, and then the Kings won it with 40 seconds left. Game 1, Montreal versus Washington. Washington wins it in overtime. Even the Winnipeg-St. Louis game is good. I mean, the games have been good. They've been close. But, seeing NHL smoke the NBA, just like we said.
But above them all remains the NFL, and that's what we're here to talk about. We'll just get this out of the way now. It's pretty much a done deal that the Titans are probably going to take Cam Ward with the first pick. They would be, stupid not to, because they desperately need a quarterback, and it's pretty obvious that Cam Ward's the best quarterback in this draft as of right now. I'm not saying that some guy can't come along and be better than him, in their rookie season or whatever, but what's on tape and talent-wise, Cam Ward looks to be the best quarterback. Titans need a quarterback. It's a no-brainer. Now, could something happen where they trade the number 1 pick right before they make it? Sure, potentially, but they need a quarterback. So, Nick, I don't know how you feel, but I think the Titans are pretty much taking Cam Ward, as they should.
I think so, too. I mean, this is a pretty QB-heavy class where you've got, Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, Jackson Dart. Those are some big names that are being thrown around in this draft. But I do think it's going to, as of right now, I do think it's Cam Ward that is the best QB among everybody. And the Titans, amongst a billion other holes that they have, I do think they're in desperate need of a QB. They've just been struggling to stay afloat for the last couple of years, and they would be stupid if you asked me to not take Cam Ward at the number 1 pick.
So after Cam Ward, a lot of people I've heard about and looked at a lot of mock drafts by, quote unquote experts. The quarterbacks are interesting this year because there are a lot of them, but people are not in love with them as much as they were with the ones last year, because you've got Shedeur, but a lot of people are kind of out on Shedeur. They don't love everything about him, which I can understand. He's got pros and cons. And then you've got Jackson Dart, who had a great offense, great scheme at Mississippi or at Ole Miss. So it's like, was it all Lane Kiffin or Jackson Dart? Will he fit in an NFL offense? Then you've got like Riley Leonard, Kyle McCord. You've got Jalen Milroe, guys that probably won't pan out in the NFL if I, had to guess. But, I could be wrong. So it'll be interesting to see where Shedeur goes. But I know a lot of people are saying maybe the Saints take him, especially with Derek Carr being out. Or potentially if he falls all the way to 21, there's a lot of speculation that the Steelers might try to take him, which I think, fit-wise, if you're Shedeur Sanders, you would rather go to Pittsburgh where there's 2 good receivers and it's a good organization to be in.
Another big name is Travis Hunter, just because him being a two-way player, is he going to be forced into a cornerback or wide receiver role when he gets into the NFL? Whenever people ask him or when he gets asked about it in interviews, he always says that he's going to do both, but that's something we haven't seen in the NFL, so it would be, that would be pretty interesting to see. A lot of people are,
I bet he would. Honestly, in my opinion, he's going number 2. I think the Browns would be crazy not to take Travis Hunter.
I was going to say, in a lot of the mock drafts I've seen, he's going number 2 to the Browns, who are a black hole of talent.
That's true.
It's just been that way ever since I've been alive. They've never been good. Every single good player that they have ever drafted has just been wasted just poor management, poor coaching, poorly run all the way around. Another big name, Ashton Genty, just because he tore it up so much last year in Boise State. I've seen him possibly being taken number 6 to Oakland. Las Vegas. They're not Oakland anymore. Las Vegas, the Raiders.
That's true.
Little brain part there. But I do. I feel like a lot earlier he wasn't being taken in the top 10, but then most recently in a lot of these mock drafts, they've been putting him in that top 10.
Yep.
Just kind of anywhere in between that 6 to 10 range.
Yeah, because I know people also like him on the Bears as well.
I was going to say for a while there, it was looking like he was going to fall all the way to the Cowboys, which did look kind of nice, but now it's not looking like that's going to happen. Even if he was there, we wouldn't take him because we would make that would be the right thing to do.
I think, I agree with that. We probably wouldn't take him. I do think, though, it's okay, and I would love to have Genty, but it's okay if we don't get Genty. There's at least 10 great running backs coming into this draft. This is a very good running back draft class. We don't need to take a running back even in the first round, to be honest with you. And I've been seeing in a lot of mocks that we will be shooting for a receiver at pick number 12. You've got McMillan out of Arizona, or Burden out of Missouri, or potentially Golden out of Texas. Out of all those, I'd rather have Golden or Burden. I don't really want the McMillan guy. I don't know. He was really good 2 years ago, but he wasn't great in his senior year. I also don't think we're taking a receiver because first round is where we love to take linemen. And, I would love Jerry to go out there and just draft a first-round receiver, and just fire up the offense a bit. It's not really
in the Cowboys. It doesn't fit the narrative, really.
Yeah.
Because it's like we would take offensive lineman, defensive lineman, or an edge rusher or something like that in the first round. I don't really see us taking a skilled position. Tyler Warren, he's a tight end that I've seen every now and then, just depending on which mock draft you look at, breaking the top 10. I would agree. I think he's very good. I'm trying to think about the last time there was
a tight end was taken up there.
A tight end that was that good, and I can't really remember off the top of my head.
Kyle Pitts. Probably Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, probably Kyle Pitts.
He was taken at 8.
3-4 years ago.
Yeah. And Kyle Pitts seems ancient, though.
And he wasn't really that good. Maybe
he's been okay.
Had a decent year last year, but really didn't pan out to what I thought he would be.
Not your top 10 talent.
It might not completely be his fault because he is on the Falcons and they've been struggling. But, it'd be cool to see Tyler Warren do a good job because he was nasty at Penn State. And then just the tight end role overall over the last couple of years has changed so greatly.
I think at 2 or 3, you're going to see either Travis Hunter or another big name is Abdul Carter right now out of Penn State. Wearing the number 11, which is kind of like the number 88 on the Cowboys, where if you wear it as a receiver on the Cowboys, you need to be like amazing. Well, if you wear number 11 there at Penn State, LeVar Arrington, Micah Parsons, Abdul Carter, these are guys that are setting records. So he's the number 11 coming out of Penn State this year. Potentially could go to the Giants. We might have to face him twice a year, but he's supposed to be very great, very great. He's dealing with some injury stuff, which is it's interesting to see if that affects where he goes or not. But Abdul Carter on tape, he was a beast at Penn State, just like Tyler Warren. Big part of their success last year was because of him off the edge, and he could be potentially either. I bet Giants are probably where he might end up if he goes in the top 3, because I do feel like the Browns are probably going to take Travis Hunter, but. He's another big name that will go pretty early, I would imagine. And if he falls to the Patriots, I bet Vrabel would take him in a heartbeat. So it'll be interesting to see what the Patriots do, by the way. They've kind of loaded up this offseason. So, Vrabel first year as their head coach, I bet they'll take defense, but it'll be interesting to see what they do.
Let's see. Just moving on down here.
I
Let's see
do.
What else we got?
If you let's say Ginty doesn't come to us, running back that you would think about. You have any guys off the top of your head that you like?
Omarion Hampton is a big name that's been thrown around. This is just kind of personal opinion. I thought Cam Skattebo was nasty.
I love Cam Skattebo.
Dude just puts the team on his back. Was an absolute grinder. In that game against Texas, he was phenomenal last year, and that was people complaining about the competition in the Big 12. Well, that was him playing against a team in the SEC that's been pretty good. Especially I hate to say it, dominant over the last couple years.
Yep.
But seeing him put kind of the nation on watch, because it's like, okay, this dude might be for real. He could be nasty. And I mean, hey, he might tear it up in the NFL.
And I think you could get him in the third or fourth round. I mean, That's
the other thing I was going to mention too, is I think he could be a late gem for whoever would pick him.
Yeah, I think I also like the two Ohio State running backs, Judkins and Trey Henderson. Mm-hmm. If I had to pick one, I'd go with Judkins just because he's a little bit bigger, looks more like a running back, can run. I mean, you've got to be not just a pass catcher, but you got to have that toughness to run up the middle. But if I could say anything, just anything at all, draft a running back. I don't care at this point. Like draft, there's like so many. There's 10 to 15 running backs
somebody
with great numbers coming into this draft. Take anyone. Just as long as we have a rookie running back, because if we're going to attack the season with Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders, that's just not it. It's not it.
And with how many, kind of like what we were saying before, how many running backs there are, you could easily get somebody in the fourth round.
And
I'm not saying
ready to
pick
start.
One in round one. I'm just get somebody. Get some fresh legs in there, please. That was a huge hole in the offense last year.
If we don't have a running game, Dax obviously. I mean, his numbers aren't going to be great because everyone knows what we're going to be doing.
I mean, Rico Dowdle he was not the guy. Yeah, he was great 2 years ago. Whenever he would get 4 carries a game or whatever, but whenever he was actually called upon, no.
Where did he go? Did he go to the Panthers? Did I just make that up?
He's not a Cowboy, I'll tell you that.
No, he's not. I mean, he had, at the end of the season in the garbage time games, he had a couple 100-yard games. But, yeah, Rico Dowdle was a good number 2 back for us. We need a rookie, on a rookie deal, and don't pay him an insane amount of money like you paid Zeke. And just get the guy on a rookie deal, let him start. These rookie running backs come into the league hungry, too. I mean, they want to prove that they – what they're about. But I do think at pick 12, either you trade down or you take a receiver. Now, I was telling Nick before, I've seen some rumors that we might be trying to trade back to the Broncos at number 20 and get Kroll and Sutton for that. If for some reason any of that's true, I say please do that. Pull the trigger immediately. Jerry did say at a press conference today that they have been in talks with other teams about trading the pick. So, obviously, Jerry likes to just be a loose cannon and do whatever he feels like doing in the moment. So we'll see what ends up happening.
Do something to be the center of attention. But I do think with pick 12, not saying we absolutely 100% should trade it, but
I like trading it.
I wouldn't hate it. We could easily make a good move. And
we need a number 2 receiver. We need a number 2 receiver, and it doesn't have to be a rookie. So if you can trade for, I think Courtland Sutton's just kind of shooting for the stars. He is a number 1 receiver on a team right now, and Bonix and Courtland Sutton have good chemistry. But if you can trade for somebody and get a number 2 receiver, because CeeDee Lamb can't be our only option, kind of like he was last year, because you can only have one guy.
He's going to be getting double, triple teamed every single game. So you got to have somebody nasty right behind him to at least even out the defense or make him pay for, doubling up or tripling up on CeeDee.
But also, the draft can't solve all our problems, like we've been saying
Right.
over and over again. So I think number one priority at some point in this draft a running back. That's what your fans want to see. We're tired of not solving the running back problem. Last year, we let 6 free agents just sign with other teams without us even trying to sign them. This time, if we let 20 running backs go in the draft without drafting a single one of them, it's going to be tough to watch our games this year, us getting pummeled as an offense like we did last year.
Yeah, and like we said, there's so many where I'm not going to be picky and say pick this guy, but
just take one
in the 4th round
or 2,
even if it's Joe Blow or whatever, pick him.
Take him. Yeah.
And yeah, it is going to require a little bit more help than the draft because that's not just going to be the end-all, be-all. We're going to need Dak to really step up his game and act like he's worth the money that he thinks he is.
Yep.
And, the whole Brian Schottenheimer situation, we're just sitting here waiting to see if it pans out. If it doesn't, well, everyone in the world could have told you that. But if it does, great. We were all wrong.
Before we go, I would say just one big thing about any draft ever is even if the player is great, it's all about the situation they get into themselves. And what I don't love is that people are saying Cam Ward looks a lot like Patrick Mahomes and Ashton Jeanty looks a lot like Barry Sanders. Let's not compare dudes to guys that are bona fide Hall of Famers already, because there's really no argument Patrick Mahomes is already a Hall of Famer, and obviously Barry Sanders is a Hall of Famer, and these guys are
having
legends in the field,
sniffed an NFL game.
So let's not do comparisons like that. Let's not even do comparisons, honestly, because Cam Ward does not remind me at all of Patrick Mahomes, and Ashton Jeanty's good, but Barry Sanders, come on, that's.
That happens every year. They pick one or two guys to. Yeah. Barry Sanders, obviously, the second greatest running back of all time, behind Emmitt Smith.
Yeah, I said one of.
But no, I just had to make sure everyone understood that he's clear cut number 2.
Yep.
But they do pick a couple guys every single year to kind of be the next whatever.
Yeah, let's not do that because they're not in this draft.
on that. We'll wait a little bit. They'll be good.
I don't think they're in this draft. Good. Yeah, but I just don't think they're in this draft.
Let's calm down. All right.
Yeah. Let them make a name for themselves.
Mm-hmm. So here's to end our shows in under review. Brought to you a quote from Marv Levy, and he said, "The harder you work, the harder it is to surrender." That's true.
Ain't that the truth? So. Mm-hmm. Watch the draft on Thursday, Friday, and if you're feeling like you got nothing going on Saturday, watch rounds 4 through 7. Those are not always very fun, but tune in at least Thursday night.
They won't be watching the draft because on Saturday is when the Stars will be playing in Denver, so you'll be locked in, laser focused on that.
Draft is 12 to 7. Watch the Stars at 8:30. So sports all day, but yeah, and. Thank you all for tuning in this week. We'll see you next week with another episode of Under Review.